Right. Hello, once again we are back to do some mobilization work. Today we're going to focus on the upper back. We've got a lot of people coming in complaining of like upper back tightness or neck stiffness, and what we want to do is really show you how to mobilize and open up your rib cage and get movement into your spine. We've got one foam roller and 2 exercises. That's all you're going to need today. Here's what we're going to start with. Alright, so what we've got Beck laying on the floor on her side. Her knees and her hips are at 90 degrees to support her lower back, so there's no real flexion and extension in her low back. And she's laying on the foam roller here, just supporting her neck. From here, her arms are out nice and long along the length of the roller, and she's looking down the line of her arms. This just helps get in position so we can start opening up through her thoracic. What we want to do from here, the first exercise that we're doing is like a clock exercise. So basically her top arm here, she's going to keep her eyes on that. She's going to open up over her head here like this. Keep her eyes on it as she rolls around and opens up through her chest. Now at this point here, she's going to come to about here to get a bit of a stretch in through her chest and movement through her back. She's not going to come too far down to get too much stretch into the shoulder. It's just at this point here. Then she's going to come back around, circle back around to the top. Now, as Beck does this, we are really focusing on the breath, breathing in on the way up, and then as she starts to reach the apex of her turn, she starts to breathe out on the way down to really open up through her rib cage and really get movement in through the thoracic cage here. So we're going to look at about 3 to 5 reps of this just to demonstrate at the moment. And then when you would do it normally, you would aim for say 10 to 15, maybe 20 reps to see how you're feeling. Then you'll swap sides and then do the same on the other side just to get rotation both directions. It's really key with this one that we're not trying to force the movement at the end of the range. So as Beck comes over here, she's really not trying to push down towards the floor. She just wants to make sure that she's opening up through the shoulder and through the chest here. Fantastic. The second thing we're going to do in the same position is instead of coming up and over now, Beck's actually going to come along the line of her body. So with this one here, as she's doing it, she's breathing in until her hand gets to her mouth, and then she starts to rotate her head and breathe out on the way down. So from this position here, she's breathing in as the hand travels along the line of the arm to her mouth, and then breathes out through here. It just opens up through the thoracic cage a little bit more as well. If you've got some shoulder restriction or overhead issues where you can't actually get your hands up here, like in that first exercise, this is another great alternative. We really want to make sure that we're keeping the low back nice and flat, there's no rotation in the lower spine or hips, and we're really focusing on just that breath at the top of this position here. So for this second exercise, we've got Beck now on her back, laying on the roller. So where she is on the roller is the point where her thoracic cage or her upper back basically turns into her lower back. So right at that point there, we're going to work through the thoracic cage from the bottom to the top. In this position, she's going to clasp her hands into a linked position behind her neck, keeping her chin tucked in nice and safely here, just to support her neck. From here, she's going to breathe in as she comes forwards. Oh, sorry, as she goes back, and breathe out as she comes forwards. Coming in, tucking her elbows into the top here. So that's breathing in on the way back to open up through the rib cage as much as she can, and then breathes out, pulling in through her abs and crunching in through here. So what we want to try and do is really work on the breath, work with the breath to open up through the body, crunching in at the top here for about 5 to 6 breaths per vertebrae. And what I mean by that is, once she's done this one here, cool, we're going to roll the roller up, so sit up, roll the roller up a little bit, sit back down, and then we repeat on the next vertebrae up. Work it all the way up just to the top of the back. You don't want to go up into the neck. And with this, with the breaths, as you go through, you probably hit 30 to 50 breaths, so it is a nice relaxing exercise. Combined with the other one, you will find that you're getting a rotation mobility, you're also getting flexion and extension in this position here. So it should take maybe 5 to 10 minutes in total, and you're really able to open up through your chest, open up through your back, release any tightness you've got throughout the system there. So that's our thoracic mobility work, rotation, flexion, extension. We really want to focus on this instead of actually trying to overstretch. A lot of people try to stretch out their back or stretch out their lats, when in actual fact what you probably need is more movement, because a lot of our lifestyles now are very sedentary. So sitting at a computer, sitting at a desk all day, you tend to get stiff and tight in the upper back. We really want to make sure that we are actually working through movement. A foam roller and a floor is a great place to start with that. I heard it as well.